Hi, I'm Davy,
And I'm Carolyn.
and we're just two Asian women having candid conversations about whatever the hell we want to talk about with an intersectional flair.
That being said, today we're going to talk about how to stop apologizing and taking your power back. So get comfy and stick around.
Hey, everybody, my name is Davy. I'm from Long Beach and I'm 26 years old. I am excited about our topic today.
Yes, right. It's so important because, oh, let me tell you, people will apologize for fucking breathing too loud. And it's like, what? Just breathe. It's fine. By the way, I'm Carolyn. And I'm 25. I'm Latin American, born and raised in San Diego. And yeah, let's just jump into it. Like apologizing, I think is a hot topic in the working woman field, or even
Mhm.
just women in general.
Absolutely, just in like real life, girls who go to school or
Yeah.
just us perusing the malls, anywhere, everywhere in public.
And I feel like I don't know, I feel like I get more apologies from women than men. That's just an observation.
Oh, for sure. They do. I looked it up too because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's true, but just to confirm, I looked
Mm-hmm.
up on the University of Waterloo says that Canada, well, it's in Canada, but I'm sure it applies worldwide as well, or at
Mm-hmm.
least in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's study found that women tend to apologize more often because they have a lower threshold than men for what they consider offensive. And then we can go into the implications of that or maybe why that is.
Yeah, I guess it's just like if people just keep apologizing, then it diminishes the worth of an apology because that is a like it's actually like an important thing, but it's so ingrained in us and it's just a really fucking stupid, hard habit to break. Literally today, I was out getting fucking banh mi's and I
Mhm.
was walking out the door and there's this lady trying to walk in and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, fuck. And I just walked away. It's fucking bullshit.
Right? And that's another thing too, why women apologize more than men. It's not that men are obstinate and they're like, no, I'm not going to apologize. It's that it's just a habit for us. And we've learned somehow, I feel like through many external forces and people that we need to apologize for everything. And it's stupid. For example, like as Kaylin was saying, it's over apologizing takes away the purpose of apologizing. When you apologize, you've done something wrong and you're trying to correct that wrongness. So me going through a door I'm supposed to go through.
Yeah.
Or Carolyn going, like we technically should not be apologizing for that. Yet we do. And it's so ingrained in us.
I know my brain is fucking bullshit. Like what could I have said instead? I could have said, excuse me, and then that would have been it.
Right?
Like it's literally that simple.
Yes. And I think we can talk about that later too, is that sometimes we need to just change our vocabulary.
Me saying that is like, oh, I shouldn't be here. Why am I walking through a door? That's so weird.
Right?
It doesn't make any sense. People who apologize to me for something that I don't consider offensive, I don't know. I don't want to come off like coarse, but when people apologize to me for something that is not an infraction, and I suppose that I would say like objectively is not an infraction to anyone. But when they say that, I'm like, I don't think you should apologize for that because it's really not that big of a deal. But since you have, I forgive you.
Right. And that's like long.
I
So,
know, but it's like how that's the most concise way to put it all together.
right. For me, it's more of a nudge. I work in one of my part-time jobs. I only work with women, and it's definitely the sorries are amplified there. It is annoying, honestly, but I've
Mm-hmm.
been there, so I'm gonna be compassionate about it. So when we cross in the hallways, they always say, "I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm.
Like 90% of the time, "I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry." And I just tell them, "Hey, you don't have to apologize for that." And that's forward enough. And I hope they get the clue. Maybe I should add the word, "You don't have to apologize for that anymore." Like,
Oh, interesting.
because that means I know you've been doing that, girl. Like, and you do not have to do that anymore.
I like that actually. And it's good. It's good that you are forward because like no one's gonna get the fucking message.
Right. Because if I
Um,
say, "Oh, it's okay," that means they should say, "I'm sorry."
maybe I should start saying that too. To me, I'm thinking when people apologize, like they're actually trying to get you could correct me if I'm wrong, but
Mhm.
To me, like they apologize for a small infraction, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, maybe like me forgiving you will make you feel better, and if that's what you
Oh,
want, then I'll give it to you. But I
oh,
don't think it should have been said in the first place.
right. I think I agree is in terms of that we people apologize because they think or they've thought they've inconvenienced somebody. But I think when people let's say if someone said, "Oh, that's okay." I think I feel, "Oh, okay, I did inconvenience them," but they are not mad about it. They're fine with it. So it's
I agree.
interesting how language thinks like that. It's very micro, but I think the impact is still there. With that said, let's talk about how apologizing or over apologizing impacts our self-worth, relationships, and even our authority.
I mean, I guess we are touching on it earlier where if you apologize, it literally either, even if it's like just a habit, you're subconsciously saying like me walking through a literal door, I'm just like, oh, what? I'm apologizing for walking through a door, you know? It's like people, or maybe like apologizing for being in the walk path, but that's everybody's walk path. So it's like, you got to question yourself, like, why the fuck would you say something stupid like that? Because you're walking, you know? Or if
Right.
you want to bring it to another context, like, I don't know, what are something people apologize for? For you know what people apologize for? For canceling plans all the time. And I'm like, first of all, you're not sorry. And second of all, I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm just fine.
For sure. I think I apologize a lot for that too, because I think one main component of over apologizing is that people are assuming that the other person's gonna be really upset.
Yes.
Mhm. So we apologize, like, as a buffer to
Mhm.
hopefully not have them be so upset.
Oh, right. In anticipation.
Mhm. So it makes us feel better.
That actually goes into the self-worth part. Like, how does it affect your self-worth? So you're
Mhm.
automatically going in there like feeling bad and needing to be made felt better by someone else.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
Because if I had more self-worth, for example, if I'm walking to work and I'm going in at the same time as my coworker, I'll be like, "Oh, hey." Instead of saying, "Oh, sorry." I'm like, "No, we got there at the same time. Why am I sorry that we just got there at the same time? I
Mhm.
don't need your validation that it's okay that I walked next to you and that we almost bumped into each other because we know it was by accident. So what's the point?" And I think if we dive deeper into why women apologize more than men, we apologize for taking space. Or we apologize for taking up space, and I've realized that, and I'm not apologizing for that shit anymore. I think with relationships, if we're constantly apologizing, then what happens with the big things? I'm just asking because I'm not quite sure.
Like I said earlier, I feel like it diminishes the apology. So when you actually need to apologize for something, like, does it mean much? And I guess what's really important is like what you do with the apology. Like, is it an action based one, or are you just saying that to make yourself feel better?
Right, exactly.
Because that's usually the case. And I say like action based apology, though all apologies should be
The action based.
action based apologies. Because why would you just say sorry when you just want to make yourself feel better? That's not the
Mhm.
point.
I didn't think about that because for me, I actually say sorry and then try to change my behavior. So I kind of forget about people who don't do that. And I agree with the whole if you're apologizing for everything, then yeah, how do you know if it's serious? So for me, honestly, like I said, I get annoyed now when people over apologize, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's just, what are you sorry about?
We kind of touched on it earlier, but like common things people apologize for, are like walking slash bumping into people slash being in a space with people.
Another thing people apologize a lot about too is in emails being not as prompt as they would like to be, or as I feel like it's just so ubiquitous that it's daily life habits that I can't even think about it because it's so automatic to me.
Yeah, people apologizing in emails for like being too late on, so, or like not replying in like 30 minutes. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal in my opinion.
Oh yeah, you know what people apologize for?
But
For being honest.
oh, they're
They're like, "I'm sorry, but I don't think we should do this."
oh, that's a good one. People do apologize for that.
Yes, a lot of the times. And it's don't say sorry to say it.
Yeah, because again, they're just trying to make themselves feel better. And I'm like, okay, stop being selfish for once and like just like get it out. Like you wanted to say something, you're not going to manipulate me into making you feel better. Oh yeah, I touched on it earlier too. People apologize for canceling plans, but I don't know if people want to cancel, then so be it. Like to me, I mean, I'm the same person who doesn't answer their text messages for like 5 months. So to me, it's not that big of a deal, but maybe to other people, like they think it warrants an apology. But if someone wants an apology, they should fucking ask for it. Or unless you've done something like literally so egregious, but like canceling fucking brunch is not really that offensive.
I think people I feel like that one depends because some people really look forward to their plans, so when someone cancels, they get really upset, but at the same time, I kinda think, well, that's kind of their problem.
Literally.
I think maybe it would warrant an apology if it happened more than once in a row or something. Like
I
if
guess
you
that makes sense. Yeah. If like
right.
they keep flaking.
Mhm. But if it's like a one-time thing where it's like, "Hey, I can't make it. I hope you understand." So
Right.
and that's another thing. Let's get into talking about there's ways to use your language that shows that you wish you weren't doing it without apologizing.
Yeah,
So that
literally.
right, so that example right there, let's say you don't wanna go to dinner or you can't make dinner anymore, instead of saying, "Hey, I'm sorry I can't go to dinner," you can say, "Hey, I can't make it to dinner." What did I just say? Oh my god.
Oh
I hope
God,
you
what did you
I hope you
say?
can understand.
Yes, yes, yes.
Without explaining yourself too much, instead of saying, "Hey, I'm sorry I can't make it to dinner," you can say, "Hey, I can't make it to dinner. I hope you can understand,"
Mm-hmm.
without having to over explain yourself or apologize.
Yes. And I think over explaining yourself goes hand in hand because it's like you don't have to explain everything because you don't owe anyone an explanation. Like sometimes you just choose not to, and that's fine. Imagine how much pressure you'd have to be under if like every time you have to come up for with like a valid reason for doing something. Like you don't. You could literally just not want to. And I that's fucking great. Yeah, so if you cancel plans, you could say, assuming that you haven't flaked multiple times or you didn't like leave someone with like a really big bill and there's more stakes involved when it comes to the event. But assuming it's a just a regular plan, like very low stakes, if you will. You know, like you said, I hope you understand. You could say, oh, I actually can't make it. Let's reschedule if you actually want to reschedule.
Right, and I think even saying "let's reschedule" is actually an apology in itself, because you're actually taking the action to be like, "Hey, I can't do this today, but I would love to next time." Like,
Yeah.
that makes me feel better because some people be like, "Oh, I can't make it, I'm sorry," but then they don't ma follow up with a plan. "Okay, bitch, when we wanna hang out next?" Like,
Yeah, it's like, are you
don't
really
play.
sorry? It sounds
Right,
like you don't want to hang out with me, which is fine, but don't apologize for it.
right, don't
At
fucking
least own up
play.
to it.
Exactly.
I hate that. Like, I remember, like, there's this one person whose company I enjoyed when I was working with them, and literally
Mhm.
every time, I usually give people like three chances, and I'm like, "Hey, let's hang out," and they're like, "Yes," and it's like, "Sorry, you can't make it," and I'm like, "Okay, okay, maybe you're
Mhm.
not a good planner. You don't want to reschedule right now because you don't have that capacity in your brain." So second time I'm like, hey, let's hang out. And they're like, yes. And then they're like, oh, sorry, I blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, okay, you know what?
Mhm.
I'll try one more time. I don't quit. And then it happens again. And at that point, I'm all like, okay, you literally are not sorry. You just don't want to hang out with me. Just say that. It's
Mhm.
fine. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna get butthurt. There's literally 7 billion people in the world. Like you are not that special.
Right, exactly. And I think being friends with Carolyn, I've become better about not explaining myself. Just as like Carolyn has said, doesn't really care. You don't have to give her explanation. You don't have to even apologize. Just three strikes you're out. I can deal with that. But like
Yes.
for example, Carolyn like will invite me to Jackbox and like online games, happy hour online. And like that makes me super happy. But sometimes I don't want to go because for whatever reasons. But
Yeah.
I know she's super accepting. I'm like, hey, I can't make it. That's it. I don't
Hmm.
apologize. I don't think I did. I
No,
don't
I don't think you did.
apologize. I don't explain
Yeah.
myself. And I know she understands and she's not butthurt.
Yeah, it's because it's not that big of a deal. Just like there will be other days. Like I'm not if I needed Davy to be somewhere, I'll tell her that you need to be here. Maybe I'm on my deathbed. I don't know. But otherwise it's not that important. And I love it when Davy cancels. Not because I don't want her there, because I'm all like, oh, good for her because she doesn't want to do something. She doesn't feel pressured to be there.
Mhm.
Like, fuck yes, don't come.
Mhm.
I would love if you were there, but if you don't want to be there, then yeah, more power to you.
Yeah. And at first I felt really bad, but then knowing you and then knowing myself, I was like, no, we're fine. She's not gonna talk behind my back like, wow, Davy didn't want to fucking go play Jackbox tonight. What a fucking bitch. Like she doesn't know what she's
Literally.
missing.
Literally, yeah. So, I mean, maybe other people out there are more like, oh, but I want my friends to hang out with me. And it's like, I don't know. That's a whole other topic I could get into.
Yeah, and I can see like why some people are actually like that, like, oh, they didn't want to. And then they're just looking too much into things, I think.
I think those people are entitled
Oh, for sure.
to their friends' time. And maybe you might think that's reasonable, but like, is it in the fine print of your friendship contract? Like, have you told them that you actually like need them to be there? Like, where's the communication? Are you just assuming? Because I can guarantee you that these people are just assuming. There's
Mhm.
some where what is the word? They are assuming and they are entitled.
Right.
It's just a bad combo.
Yes, and it's funny because I didn't even really think about that because I think when we grow up, we think of friendship in a one type of way,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't like to me, like prior to this conversation, I didn't even think about it as entitlement, but it really is. I have had toxic friends who thought they were entitled to me. And I was like, fuck you. Like, you do not own me. I want to hang out with you when I want to.
Yeah.
And like in our toxic friendship episode, one of them got really upset that I couldn't go to Las Vegas for her birthday because I was going to Cambodia for the first time.
Yeah.
And then the other one got upset because I couldn't or I didn't want to hang out with her after a night of already hanging out with her. And she got upset. I'm like, so yeah, that is entitlement. I don't need to fucking hang out with you.
Literally.
You should not be upset. And you can be upset, but keep that to yourself and don't lash out on me
Yeah, it's not
or
your
try to make me
problem.
feel bad. But yeah, not my problem. It's your personal problem.
Yeah, that's a you problem. So yeah, anyway, that's our whole shtick about canceling plans. Like, really, it's not that big of a deal. If there's money involved, then fucking just pay it back. It'll be fine, you know?
Other ways to stop apologizing is just being really self-aware. So
Mhm.
sometimes before I try to even speak or let the I'm sorry come out of my mouth is I just pause and don't say anything. That really helps.
Oh, good. Okay. That's good to know,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, so if I'm, going through a door at the same time with somebody, I just pause. Another thing too that it's an exercise I do to help myself be self-assured and remember my self-worth and I should and can take up space or just the space I should be in anyway is so when I'm walking publicly in the street and usually somebody's walking on the right lane and you're walking in the right lane opposite directions. I used to move for crowds or move for that one person.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore because I
Yeah.
should be on the right side of the sidewalk.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's where yours. Yeah. Can I say
So
something about that?
r
This like little tidbit that, okay, I actually got this from my high school boyfriend.
Oh, yeah?
We were walking around like a beach area and like the whole time, we were walking side by side and I would literally like be moving like this and he would be like forward and I would have to be the one
Oh, okay.
pivoting to because it was crowded.
Right.
And I was like, damn, I have to keep like maneuvering. And he noticed because, like, we're walking together. And he's like, let me tell you, Carolyn, if you want people to move for you, just keep looking forward and don't look at them, but look past their shoulder and then they'll always move. And I'm all like, oh, interesting. So then I did that. And literally the crowd parted like the Red Sea. It was so interesting. Like I just kept walking and I'm all like, look past them. And they always moved and no one
Yes.
bumped into me.
Yes, that is my strategy. It works, like,
Mhm.
99% of the time. It did not work one time at Walmart.
Like you challenged them and they're all like, I have the same strategy. Let's go.
Yeah. No, they actually said something out loud. I think it was with Larry at Walmart, and then we were walking on the correct right side of the walkway, and he was like, "Move." Like, "I'm a crib." He legit, like, said, like, he was in a gang, like, "Do like, I'm not moving." And I'm just like, "Wow, okay, insecure, territorial, whatever."
Wow. I feel like I would move if someone said that to me.
Oh, absolutely, I moved, but it was just kinda like, "Bro, you're on the wrong side, but okay, I don't wanna get hurt today."
I
So
know, right? So
yeah.
like, we pick and choose our battles.
But yes, exactly, because if somebody that strategy works because if somebody sees you look hella focused, you have the face of like, "Don't fuck with me today," and or you just looks past them, they will move for you because they can tell you're not gonna budge, so they will. So that's a strategy. It's how does it relate to not apologizing? It's because I'm reclaiming my space,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna apologize for, "Oh, sorry." Like,
Yeah.
"Sorry I'm walking on the sidewalk with you." Like, no.
Exactly. And another thing I learned, like in the professional space, and I suppose you could use this anywhere. I was reading this book, and they were like, they had a whole chapter about apologies, and they were like, replace the word sorry with thank you. And I was all like, what the
Ooh.
fuck does that even mean? But then they're like, for example, with the work email example, you could say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't reply earlier or something. Or you could say, thank you for your patience. And that is good because you still keep your authority in the situation. Because when you apologize, well, people just assume you did something wrong because that's what a fucking apology means. But you didn't do anything like, again, egregious. So why would you give like that power to people? So you get to maintain like your authority and your self-worth in that case. If you're late to a meeting, instead of saying sorry to everybody and then they all have to like forgive you, you could say again, thank you for your patience, thanks for waiting, and then that's that, and everyone's like, you're welcome, and then they feel good.
Yeah, exactly, and I feel like that works in retail or customer service. "Thank you for being patient if your food's taking too long," for the
Yeah.
server, but it's like, "But you still gotta wait, bro, because not my fault."
Yeah.
And then I think another thing that people apologize for is, like, asking too many questions. So if you're
Mhm.
at work, and you wanna ask your colleague for help, instead of saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry that I'm asking so many questions," just say, "Hey, thanks so much for helping me."
Yes, yeah,
And it's like
exactly.
and they feel good. They're like, "Oh, yeah, no worries, yeah."
Literally.
So, just think of some phrases where you can turn a "I'm sorry" sentence to a "thank you" for whatever sentence, and honestly, it's so fun. I learned that last year.
Mhm.
It's like a gamification of I'm not apologizing anymore.
Yeah, it's transformative. It's you can even use that when you're canceling plans.
Mhm.
Can't make it. Thanks for inviting me though.
Yes, that's why I say, "Thanks for always inviting me." I think I told you that.
Yes.
Yeah. Or, again, like, "Thanks for being understanding." But yeah, I that was one of my favorite tips I saw last year, and that made me really happy.
Hmm.
And I really wish more people would do that. And again, if you find yourself apologizing again, it takes time. Even I still have that habitual urge to apologize for everything, but
Same.
I pause and I'm like, "Wait, nope, not doing it."
Yes. All that to say, like, stop fucking apologizing, especially if you're a woman, because you're not doing anything wrong, most likely
Mhm.
speaking.
And another thing that's really similar to apologizing for yourself, but it's not actually apologizing, it's another form of self-soothing, is being overly nice in your emails or being overly nice in your expressions. So, for example, I notice as a woman in my emails, I'll be like, "Hey, exclamation mark, is it okay if I take time off?" Smiley face. But if you can't, no worries. Thank you, Davy." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Holy shit, what the I just did, like, gymnastics or something, like, trying to write that email." You know?
Well, what parts was overly nice in your opinion?
I think in my opinion is I don't need those smiley faces. I don't need
Hmm.
exclamation point to emphasize how potentially grateful I am. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I notice I usually use a lot of exclamation marks, and I'm not excited, kind of saying, "No worries if we can't." I
Yeah.
just feel like it's a little bit unnecessary. I can just ask, "Hey, may I take time off?"
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. With the taking the that bit at the end off where it's like, no worries if you can't, because like if you give people an inch, they'll take a mile. Okay. So if you want something, go in there with like all the urgency in the world so you can actually get it. So I agree with that. The exclamation point thing is an interesting topic because I've heard before, and the emoji thing too, because I've also read before that like people consider it like unprofessional, if you will, because I mean, it's emotive. That's what
Oh,
it is.
okay.
People consider it unprofessional mainly because you're coming off like in a very like warm manner, I suppose you could say, like things that indicate your tone and whatnot. versus a cold professional email, with just periods and commas and whatnot. So that being said, I feel like a lot of women are trying to, I don't know, professionalize their email, if you will, by excluding exclamation points, maybe because they feel like they're being too excited or too emotive or too nice, if you want to call it that. But then I
Mhm.
heard this other argument that was like, fuck no, if I want to put an exclamation point, then I'm going to use an exclamation point. Like, I'm not going to start writing like men. Men should start writing with fucking emotion if they have any in their emails. And
Okay.
yeah, so I guess it depends what camp you're in, really. I really like putting exclamation points in my emails because I think that's how I actually talk. It's not something that seems false to me if I put an exclamation point because I do feel that way. I don't put emojis in just because I feel like that's a little too casual for my opinion, but I don't mind people who do that.
Yeah, I agree. So I think from my perspective of how I was looking at it was I feel like those are just extra things I used to do to make myself feel better or not personally have other people potentially assume I'm in a bad mood or I don't know how to explain myself. But definitely the no worries tidbit is a little bit too much. My face is just preference. Like I think people already know I'm a happy person, so I don't want to like overdo it with the smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think with the exclamation marks, I feel like it's fine for people to put exclamation marks. I think when I was just doing it, it was kind of like, hey, oh, sorry, my dad's cooking.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you don't have to apologize for that.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. See, why am I apologizing? Because my dad and I live in a small house. I should not apologize for that.
Literally, he's just cooking you a meal. It's
Yeah,
fine.
he is.
As
And,
he should.
okay, folks, I'm not apologizing, so therefore my dad will continue to cook over this over myself. I think I grouped the exclamation mark, smiley face, and no worries if you can't together because I think I just saw it as myself just comforting myself again.
Oh, I see. You want to remove any self-soothing things.
Right. So for me, I don't want to put exclamation marks just because everyone knows how bubbly I am. So I just don't want to do for me it's overkill. But exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. That's just my
Yeah.
personal preference. But if
Yeah.
people do it, it's not necessarily self-soothing. It's just how they express themselves, like you said.
That makes sense. But I like what Davy mentioned about like telling people that they don't have to apologize. I'm like, I should start doing that. I could do my wordy thing about like, you don't have to apologize, but I get what you're coming from because you want to feel better about yourself. So I forgive you because of that. Or I could just say, I don't care. Like, you don't have to apologize. In fact, you shouldn't.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think we've already the first sentence is I think it would throw them off
I think
because
they'll be very confused, to be quite
yeah,
honest, because
because we've
if,
thought about it a lot, so we understand. But they're just like, what the fuck?
yeah, they're all like, okay, Carolyn, it's not that serious. Like,
Right.
Jesus.
They're like, okay, I didn't realize I was gonna get a motivational speech today.
But yeah, so everybody stop apologizing when you don't mean it, because I know you don't mean it. It's fine. You're happy that you canceled your plans, so don't apologize for it. I hope these tips helped you. It's really like a shift in language and like catching yourself when you need to correct your language. For example, when you just were saying sorry about your dad, I just like instinctually was like, oh, fucking Pavlov's dog light bulb. What did Pavlov do? He fucking like rang a bell
Yeah, hearing a
and
bell
the
and
dog started
dogs
drooling.
start drooling because of food.
So usually anybody says sorry, and I'm all like, oh, it's okay. And I'm all like,
Right.
well, wait, no, we literally just talked about this.
I know he used the unconditioned stimulus and then the okay, I'm just kidding. It's going back to psychology, but yeah, I know, and it was so automatic for me. I didn't even realize I apologized, Carolyn. I was like, holy shit, I just apologized.
That's how pervasive his stupid ass habit is. I
Mm-hmm.
hate it.
You know what should happen? Every
What?
time I say I'm sorry, I get shocked.
Yeah, I want that too.
All right, Davy and Carolyn Salmove are gonna create this new product.
Yep, let's do it. Voice recognition every time we say the word sorry. And that's all like they administer a shock. That's going to be our patented product.
Right? No, we're just joking because punishment is not very effective. Positive reinforcement is. So maybe if you've gone like half a day or a day without apologizing, you get a cupcake.
Ooh, even better. I like that.
Right?
Okay, let's do that instead.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
But for the people we don't like, we'll shock them.
Yes, I agree.
We're going to finish today's episode here. We want to hear from you. Do you apologize a lot? And what do you do to stop apologizing? Email us at just2asianwomen@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at just2asianwomen podcast or comment on our YouTube channel.
And you could find our podcast on Spotify, Anchor FM, and YouTube.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you enjoyed it, please consider sharing with your friends, your aunt, your uncle. That would be awesome. You'll hear from us again next week. Again, my name is Davy.
And I'm Carolyn. And we're just
That's
two
two
Asian
Asian
women.
women.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.